Hi guys, this is Jessica Elgin with Allure Luxury Properties powered by Red Rock Real Estate in Southern Utah. I am going over numbers today. So I'm going to look at these in a couple of different ways. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go over local numbers for here in Southern Utah. Then we're going to look at the federal numbers. We're looking at two different things. So whether your portfolio is one that is designed to create wealth building or it's designed to create cash flow, there's different key indicators that we want to take a look at. So we're going to look at those in three different segments. I'm going to do this as three different videos, a series of three videos. The first video will be on the local market here in Southern Utah. The second video will be those FRED graphs, the Federal Reserve Economic Development graphs. Those are the ones that are going to be the key indicators we utilize for our wealth building. And then the third one will be those key indicators from FRED that we utilize when we're trying to build cash flow. So we're going to take a look at all of those. I'm going to go ahead and start this one by sharing my screen and going over the numbers for 2024 here in Southern Utah. As we're doing this, there are 5 graphs that I'm going to take a look at. Now, if you've followed me in the past, then you know that I have a wall of graphs. So this is some of the stuff that you're going to see on that wall. These are the things that I think are very important when we're looking. They're my key indicators that I look for. I do have specific key indicators for boom markets. I have specific key indicators for cash flow and specific key indicators for wealth building. So as we're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and get started here. This is 2024 in review for Washington County, going over those 5 different graphs. The graphs are the number of listings, months of inventory, days on market, sales to list price, and the active to sold price trends. So we'll take a look at all of those. As we're doing it, we really want to pay attention to how they interact with each other and how they what they indicate for specific cycles and where we're at. That's going to give us an idea of what to buy or what not to buy or when to sell. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at it as an overall. The number of listings have actually gone down in December of 24. They also went down year over year. Now, you'll remember from last month, I was getting a little concerned. We've had since September, we watched these numbers drop dramatically. It's almost a straight line. So December doesn't give me near as much hesitation because December, typically we do have less number of listings on the market. However, when I look year over year, I'm still significantly less than what I was before. So what that's telling me is without inventory, that typically indicates that prices will most likely be going up. So we'll take a look at that, see what happens. Anytime you have that boom, remember we're looking for that nice growth here. So you've got 5 years, 4 to 5 years, and then you go up. That number of listings is going to significantly drop anytime we're in this phase of it. So we're clearly in an area of high inflation or high appreciation. Months of inventory also went down, which is usually a direct correlation to the number of listings. So that's not shocking at all, both for December and year over year. Our days on market, though, was missing. So this actually went up. And the reason that this happens is because as our inventory goes down, we have less numbers that are put into that average for the days on market. Now, as the number of listings is going down and people are still buying, that means that the good properties are all being taken, right? They're coming off. A good property is only going to be on the market a couple of days. So those low numbers that give us that average on our days on market are going to be being pulled from that inventory, from that availability. So when they're doing their average, what they're looking at is they're saying, okay, all that's left is now the houses that have been on the market for a year or 2 years. Now, there's an interesting thing with those homes. When you have a house that you've overpriced and it's sitting on the market for over a year, a lot of times that's done by design, right? So the investor is saying, you know what? I don't care. This is the number I want to get out of it. Whenever it comes, that's when I'll hit it. I'll wait for the market to hit that. So I don't mind putting it on the market for 2 years. It skews our number for days on market, but it's a strategy. So eventually, though, after a year or 2 years, sometimes 3 years, we'll see those properties start falling off. Now, because what's left is all those higher days on market properties, as we start seeing those fall off, we're going to see that days on market start trending down. That's going to be interesting to watch here in the next year as our market is going up. Sales and list price. So we're going to look at both of these. They did go down in December of 24. However, year over year, they slightly went up on the sales side and slightly down on the listing side, but barely. You're going to see, I mean, it's a bear movement year over year. It just so happens that to get that correction, they both went down in December, which we do see quite often. The other thing is this, active and sold price trends. So active went down, and we had it go down and we had it go up. And you're going to see it's active to original sales price and active to active to list price. So active to list is what it was listed at the time that it sold. I'm sorry, list to sold price. And then active to sold price. So we'll take a look at these real quick and how they all start panning out. So we're going to start with the number of listings. Number of listings did go down. What you're looking at, the blue is your active listings, new is your red listings, orange is your pending listings, and yellow is your sold listings. So you can see all of them had that dramatic drop that we were talking about, except our solds, and our solds actually stayed flat. Now, that is not shocking to me. In December, as our inventory goes down, we tend to see that people get pretty close to what they're asking on. That people are very realistic. If they're buying in December, they're buying because they need to buy in December. They're not buying just willy-nilly. So when we look at that, we'll see that prices tend to stay pretty close to where it's at. And the number of solds that we have stay pretty close. Everything else continues to decline. That means our inventory goes down. This right here is months of inventory. Obviously, that's directly affected by the previous graph. On this is that steady decline that I've been talking about that we've been watching since September, right? So we've been watching it just drop dramatically all the way down. So we were only at a 2-week inventory last month. We're now down below that 2-week. Not shocking again for December, because when you get into December, you start, remember we had the number of sales stays, but our number of inventory drops. So you're going to see a drop in December typically. You saw that last year, right? So, and actually, I'm sorry, last year we did go up, but typically you see it go down. That's an odd year. That's an anomaly. Typically it looks more like this. The next one that we're going to take a look at is days on market. Now, typically days on market would be affected the opposite. We would expect to see it go down when months of inventory and number of listings go up. However, because of that anomaly, because of the fact that we're lowering that inventory, and then we've got those ones that are holding on that are a year, 2 years on the market, those skew our data points, right? So when we've got that skewed data in there, it's going to pull everything up. We have less numbers to even it out. So we did see that go up in December. It'll be interesting, as I said, to watch this over the next year as the market starts catching up with where those listings are listed at, and they start to sell because there is no inventory. Then we'll start seeing this decline. The next one we're going to look at is sales to list price. And this right here is the blue is the sale to the original list price. And this is the sale to list price. So this is the list price at the time that it's sold. So what this is indicating is your percentages are going to go up as your list price and your sold price get closer and closer. So your sales price is right here. Your original list price is way up here. This typically indicates that you've got unrealistic sellers. This is when we see a 96, 95, 90% ratio, because we're close, but we're not quite there, right? So this has this much to make up. This is at 90%. This is where we end up selling it. However, sellers start getting realistic after they put it on. And remember, our buyers are very savvy these days. They know what a house is worth. So marketing it over, not necessarily great. So what's going to happen is they're going to take a price decrease. They're going to become more realistic. As they become more realistic, that sales to list ratio gets closer to 100. So the higher the ratio, the more realistic we have sellers. The lower the ratio, the more unrealistic our sellers are. So what we're looking at here is a pretty high 98%, 96%. Year over year, you can see it's pretty much the same. Like it barely moved. And then we look at this, the active to sold price trends. So when we're looking at this, we're looking at the actual active prices right here and the actual sold average price right here. So again, this is very indicative of what's happening on that graph before, where we're seeing that sales to list price ratio. They're marketing them at a price that is higher than what they're actually selling at. In fact, last October, or October a year ago, so 14 months ago, we were significantly off. They were listing at 720, we were selling at 580, right? So that got closer and closer. The closer it gets, the more realistic our sellers are. This is an indication. I think we'll start seeing this more and more as sellers realize that our buyers are just more educated these days. So we did see, however, we saw that our sold price did go up and our list price went down. Very interesting, right? For December. So year over year, we are up when it comes to the average sold price, and we're down as far as the list price, which is something we would expect. So again, this is the summary of that. The number of listings did go down for both December and year over year. The months of inventory went down both for December and year over year. Our days on market did go up both in December and year over year. And our sales to list price, the ratio went down in December on both of them, but really, honestly, was about the same year over year. And our active and sold price trends, active went down and sold went up both last month and year over year. So I hope you take a look at these numbers. Make sure that anytime you're looking at any type of investing, that you're really looking at what's going on in the market, where you are in the cycle. And that's going to give you an idea of what is best to do for your portfolio, regardless if you are looking at building cash flow or building wealth. So you guys have a great day. Happy investing, and I'll see you on the next video.